going on, Chains? How are you doing? Channel's officially monetized. All my hours are in. So now I just got to start doing some long form content and start taking their money all the time. So I'll get paid for advertising and shit. So I want to do some rifle shooting coming up with the kid. So if you want to go shooting, you got to load ammo, right? So all this stupid shit people like really like for some reason. So yeah, now if I can just avoid getting strikes on their shit. You know, the whole playing by the rules like everybody's supposed to play by, especially when they're like, hey, you can't do this. I mean, you know me, you know that doesn't work out, does it? Hey, you can't do that. That's that whole authority defiant. That's why I got along so well. I assume you're still at work, huh? Did you get your exhaust? What'd you pick up? So some dies. John, how are you doing? Gotta find my dies I want to use. Yeah, I'm doing good. There it is. I think the right one either. Yeah, man, you know, all you got to do is tell me when. Saturdays are better than Sundays. Because on Sundays, obviously we're shooting matches, but there's nothing going on this Sunday for Easter. I don't know if you got shit going on Easter. We'll bring the 50 cal, we'll let her shoot that and see what she thinks of that. So, plus tune. Feel Moto does good work. They, I don't like the way they do their dyno, because every time I had them dyno something, they always told me the same thing. If we had just a little bit more time, we would have got it a little bit better, you know. And last shit on Sunday, yeah. You guys have open house on Friday? If you do, I'll stop in. So I ain't got shit going on. We don't shoot Saturday or Sunday this week because of Easter. Oh, there it is. I was looking for this die, and I didn't put it back. You guys are gonna be scrolling faster than I can read. Hellcat or 43X. I don't have any experience with a Hellcat. I'm not a fan of the 43X. I like the Glock 26 though. There you go. John Wicks is probably. The PDPs are good guns too. Nobody can say they're not, right? We're gonna work on some 600-yard rifle loads. So we'll load up some Varget, and we'll load up some 68 grain bolt tail hollow point match. Chains, I love you, man. You know I do. Nothing but love and respect for you and everyone else there. So I appreciate it, man. Tell Mrs. Anthony I said what's up. Hope she's doing well. Hope she's still making a good recovery. I know I don't talk to you guys as much as I should, but it's not because I don't care, you know. So you be good, man. I'll talk to you later. Did you say? Oh yeah, you did. Out of town Friday and next. Oh yeah, it's that time again, man. So you be good, man. Ride safe. Let's make it through another season, right? We're going to use Varget today. I'm not a huge fan of Varget. It meters hard. It's in a extruded powder versus like a ball powder. Ball powder meters way better. But Kate Sela, I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. How are you? I'm from America. Where are you from? Sorry, I was having a conversation with a very good friend of mine. Riza, how are you? Hope you're doing well. Tenley, Giant, huh? That's nice. JMO, what's up? Pot Dragons, how are you doing? Sorry, I kind of booped right past all you guys. So, John, what's big? Yeah, we'll do a table today. I ain't got shit going on. D-Dog, what's up? You back from work? We're gonna load some 600 yard rifle rounds for the AR. That season's upon us, so we'll load some up here. But yeah, did you get any? I didn't see any footage. I looked last night of your JP. Jay Lee, how are you doing? Is this the real Jay Lee? You gotta ask no. Yeah, we'll be. Anything particular you want to see out there? 24. Is there ever anything you want to see? I have a few presses. I have 2 Lees sitting here. I have a Hornady, and I have a Dillon, and then I have 2. Where's the other one? The other one, oh, right there. I have 2 Lee shotgun presses too. Whoever it was got removed. So, but yeah, we'll load up some 68 grain rifle rounds. Yeah. Don't ever let it feel like you're broke, because it's easy to look at something. Like if you look at John's arsenal, right? That guy's got an incredible collection, and it makes me feel poor. $300 for a Glock 43, yeah, that's a smoking deal. Yeah, I don't have any Lee presses aren't expensive. So if you're getting that from me, I never said that. The Dillon's expensive, that's a lot. Lee is good for what they do. My Dillon's broke. I'm still waiting on parts. I'm about fucking pissed over that. But for rifle rounds, my case prep is already done. My brass is already sized, trimmed, and primed. I just have to charge the cases, heat the bullets, and crimp them. So it's not worth running them through a progressive. I asked him the same thing. I didn't ask it quite like that, but I did ask him. He keeps them oiled. Yeah, Lee. Oh, there's cheaper stuff you can find, but Lee's a good press. So, there's a lot of good companies located in Wisconsin. Lee happens to be located in Wisconsin, so um, I don't mind using Lee products. The cool thing with Lee uh, is when you need something, I can drive. It's less than an hour away from me. I can drive right to their headquarters and get shit. So they have a store there. Uh, I am loading. I'm going to load some rifle rounds. So that's what I'm working on. Yeah, Lee makes, they make alright stuff. You know, like everything. Change that a little bit there. Like everything, I mean, it's not high end. So for somebody who just wants to be able to load some ammo and test and get into the hobby, because it's definitely a hobby, right? Just like anything else, there's a huge expense to it. So there's cost. I'll try to get this camera set up yet. All right, that's a little better. Yeah. You are moving to Texas. Are you really? What's in Texas? He switched over. I think he said he switched over now. He's going to run Shooter's Choice. 200 grand. So you cut the brass down. I'm sure you anneal the necks and then size it. So. Driving into the sunset. You have a job in Texas? I mean, I would assume you have more than a plan, unless you're just going to go shack up with ammo. I'm sure he'd welcome you, right? Ammo's a nice guy, I'm pretty sure. Nothing else, I don't think he'd kick you out. Yeah, D-Dog's cool shit. I would love all you guys, like Jay Lee, if you've never subscribed to D-Dog Tactical, man, sub to him. He's a really cool shit. He's like a lot of us. He's just he's a good old boy, right? Loves firearms, loves his family. Um, so. Got to find the right data, so there's actually different data for 223 match service rifle, and then 5.56 data. So, like I was saying the other day, John, wipe them off really good. Use the grease on the slide and contact bearing surfaces, and then rem oil on a rag, rem oil spray aerosol shit, and just wipe the gun over with that, and it'll dry. You won't have any problem. I can make you a mod right now. So like I was telling you the other day, I don't just leave people generally as mods. So when I see you in the comments, and just like you did, you ask me, I'll put you right back as a mod. But mods have the ability to go into videos and remove comments or anything else. But I mean, the only reason you need to be a mod is if we're in the live, so you can check out other guys' channels. I wouldn't say I'm a professional, but I've been around. So I'll need a lot more powder. midwinter, this is what I should have been doing, is down here working on shit. And I did to an extent. I just didn't load. So one. We're gonna shoot for like 24.6 grains. 24.0. Oh. D-Dog, you picked up that Shooter's Choice, right? Not a sponsor, what's up? Work on our 600 yard rounds. What's your thoughts on forced reset triggers? The FRT, the rare breed, and the WT are 100% legal. Everything else out there is still play at your own risk, because there is no court cases that have ruled that they are legal. The court cases specifically state rare breed and WT. That's it. So even if other triggers function the same way or similar, until there's a court case on it, you're kind of gambling. YCD Guns, how are you doing, man? I'll work on some rifle rounds. So the hours, I have all my hours now on the channel, so as soon as they decide to actually let me start monetizing videos, the hours are there. However, I have a video from last year that I think we did in June that as soon as that 365 comes around, those hours are going to drop off. So we'll keep stacking the hours in preparation for when them hours start falling off. Yeah, I hear you on that. PCC can be a lot of fun, but has a lot of problems too. I have different optics on different guns. I have EOTechs, I have aim points, I have a Leupold, actually a couple Leupolds, and I have a primary arms. And like on the aim points and EOTechs, I have magnifiers on them. There you go, 24.6. Alright. I'm tempted to load some Armageddon bullets, but I don't really have anything I want to blow up with them. Them are pretty nasty projectile. I spilled powder the last time I was loading, so I had to dump that out. Yeah. I'm not a fan of that aluminum case blazer, but the rest of it's not bad. You can even reload the regular brass stuff a few times. It's thinner than a lot of other types of brass, but it works. So because the Varget powder is a extruded powder instead of like a ball, it likes to get stuck in the powder dispenser. So you gotta tap the little bottom of the feed funnel. But we shoot rifles and stuff. To me, it's kind of boring to show because there's nothing really to see. You're set up on a bench. You can't really see the targets. Yeah. Micromanager. Curious, Jaylene, you don't have to answer, but about how old are you? I'm just curious. You have kids? Or you, I mean, you said you and your old lady, so just curious if you have kids too. Fiocchi ammo is alright. I never had any real problems with that. 30 and no kids, so you're a young guy, man. Absolutely. 30 years old, you should definitely get yourself in a state that you want to be in. Me, I'm stuck. I've been at my job 20 years, so there's no packing it up and relocating. Not butt babies. I think Jay Lee is one of the people I like to see in the comments. I like everybody, like D-Dog. I always love it when you're here because we can chat. But Jay Lee is always hilarious, man. You gotta love people that got a sense of humor, off sense of humor at that. Oversized and wouldn't see correctly. Was that in the checkmate or was it in the shadow? All the CZs have a short chamber. So, Rubbish, how are you doing? I'm gonna buy a reamer at some point this summer and remount my barrels so they're more of a standard spec. Xbox, how are you doing? When I'm done with that, if you want to use it, I can send it to you, D-Dog. And I don't think you answered the question. Do you ever pick up that Shooter's Choice? You're not out rollerblading again, are you? Autism. It's funny. I was actually looking at your channel. I see you. I was kind of like, who names your channel Autism? Then I thought about it for a second. I bet you they got an AUG, and sure shit you do. I didn't leave any comments on it, but I was definitely on your channel. You like it? Makes a big difference, doesn't it? That shit's slicker than slick, and it stays put. Right, there's the problem with the extruded powder too, is you have to actually cut grain sometimes. Sorry, I accidentally roped someone. Anything else, salesman? I don't know, as far as what? Can you see my chats? I can't from my phone, but anybody else can. Any of the other moderators can click on your channel and should be able to see your chat history. So unless I looked over you when you were chatting, I apologize. I am looking down from time to time. My wife works late tonight. My daughter's with her cousin. And my son has to work, so I think I got like the house until 8 o'clock tonight. Rubbish, spam, lube. Xbox, we already acknowledged you, man. Not sure if you're what you mean by your brother, your actual like physical brother saying hi. Yeah, I mean after a while, I'll be honest, and I've said it before, I don't clean my guns every time I shoot them. I don't clean my barrels until they get fouled out. They don't shoot. 223 DMR, how are you doing? You know, I get, sometimes it's fun to take stuff apart and play with it, but after a while of doing it for a long time is probably where D-Dog's at, is if I don't have to pull the gun apart, I'm not going to pull it apart and clean it just to clean it. So I clean it, I lube it the right way, and then I run thousands of rounds before I tear it back apart. Over at Fort Scott, Leonard Wood for a school trip. There you go. It's probably a good time, huh? Friday night fishing club. Yeah, I'm having a good day, man. How's your day going? You get brass particles a lot. That's not a big deal, nor is it uncommon. Usually it's caused by the extractor. When the extractor picks up the round in chambers, and or when it strips it out, you'll get little pieces of brass. If you look at the bottom of your brass, any of the brass, you'll see little extractor marks on it, and that's where a lot of them brass shavings come from. It's not something to worry about. Brass shavings make good lube. Yeah, so like my daughter's 1522. I do clean that just about every time. You're absolutely right. I don't like scrub on it, but I'll run usually a brush and wet patches through that because it's 22 rimfire, and that keeps it from feeding. And I always make sure I clean under the the extractor so that you don't get any malfunctions with her. So she usually shoots with a clean gun every time she shoots. But that's just so she can shoot and not have to worry about any malfunctions. Rimfire is dirty. Taking care of rimfires is a whole lot different than taking care of a standard centerfire pistol, rifle, or even a shotgun. Yeah, I like, we have a few different things. Obviously, like everybody, the 40 grain CCI mini mags, the copper jackets, that's my favorite. Absolutely love that. Dave Casey, how are you doing, man? How's your day going? That's my favorite ammunition for any 22. And we pick up Federal bulk pack. That stuff works pretty good, but it's quiet. The shot timer has a hard time picking it up, so she shoots a lot of strings over. And I also have a bunch of, I still think I got like maybe 10,000 rounds of the Norma TAC 22. That stuff's okay, but I have to wipe all the oil or the lubricant off of it before we run the stuff or she has problems. STV, I'm not familiar with STV. Yeah, it does run the best. And it shoots good, man. It produces good accuracy. I'm not a fan of the 36 grain ammunition. Nothing of mine has ever shot the 36 grain ammo well. The mini mags are okay, but for what I use the guns for, that's overkill. Yeah, and that's exactly exactly it. So, but it's cheap. I'm not gonna hunt all over, central Wisconsin to find ammo. So if Fleet Farm doesn't have CCI mini mags, then I just buy Federal, or I'll use that Norma if they don't have that. So the Norma stuff shoots really well too, but it's a lead, just like the Federal, it's a lead projectile, so you do get lead in the barrel. I have stuff made that takes the lead out, and if you ever want to make your own, it's peroxide and vinegar. You'll actually put it into a liquid solution, which can be really, really toxic and easily absorbed. So if you ever do make that, wear gloves when you clean it. But I have stuff specific to remove lead from barrels. So I guess Ammo got hit with some more strikes. I was talking to him a little bit earlier. So if you guys haven't, support his channel, because he deserves that. I don't understand why he gets hit all the time. It doesn't make sense. But I missed something here. Leave this table in front of you. 30 ST. Oh, the STV ammo. You use that for Steel Challenge, or you shouldn't pick your fingers. Pick your nose with your fingers, yeah, no. Or lick your fingers. Lead to kids is a lot more toxic than adults. My daughter with her 1520, my 1522, but she uses it. I usually even load her ammo for her so she doesn't have to handle any 22. She loads her own pistol mags, the Shadow Systems mag, which is impressive now. But the 1522 mags I load for her, so if we're using lead ammunition, she's not like handling it. I would hate to someday have her, when she wants to have a family of her own, to have children with birth defects, because you're always going to wonder if that was from her shooting. Have you ever heard of NGA eliminator rounds? I have not heard of them. D-Dog, you're back to work now? I think that's what you said, right? You're back to work. I am charging some rifle rounds. I'm going to seat some bullets here in a minute. I don't know if you guys ever smelled any like pure powder, or new powder especially. It's a good smell. Some people may not like it, but I like the way powder smells. Yeah, I think it's the saltpeter and then the, what do you call it? I can't think of the name of it right now. The nitrates, the nitrogen in it. Black powder is more sulfur than smokeless powder. I still need to go to the parts store and get some hardware to mount that other press. I should have did that instead of coming home. I keep telling myself go do that, and I don't know. I hate going to stores. Be gaming. How are you doing? You shoot this Sunday, D-Dog? Is that what you were saying? So I think, isn't this Sunday? This Sunday's Easter, isn't it? If you got cool guns, then I get hard. So I guess. Yeah, potassium nitrate, thank you. That's the word. Emil, did you got them videos, right? I assume you did. You're more than welcome to edit them the way you want. The forms I sent you is what I'm going to publish on my channel. If you want to use it, feel free. Hopefully maybe they'll push your algorithms a little differently, or whoever's standing on your dick. That's what we're loading today. 68 grain boat tail hollow point match on top of some varget. You didn't get them? I'll have to look. I sent them when I left the compound. I'll have to look. I thought they went through though. Some 68 grain. Yeah, they're a good shooting bullet at distance. Honestly, for the stuff you use, you should be pushing the cheapest bullet you can find. You could even find go find some 50 grain and then do some full powder charges on them. You like muzzle flash, you'll see some pretty impressive muzzle flash. No, you got the videos. So I do that, it seems like when you post videos, I can do the match footage and they'll kind of get some views and then they'll die down, and I'll usually do something like gun safe related or something, and the views will pick back up, they'll die down, and then I throw something like that in the mix. And then everything does good for a minute. Yeah, I got like 9 5-gallon buckets sitting back there of 223 brass, so I'm not really needing it. Arizona Kid, how are you doing? You have too much 5.56. Don't ever say too much, because at the end of the day, you just keep it in a bucket, and at some point you can cash it in and go buy ice cream. So never just get rid of brass. Save it. You never know. So if a person had to, you can take a 22 rimfire cartridge case, so the brass cartridge case, and you can do what's called bullet swedging. You take lead and you cast into a 22 caliber projectile, and then you seat it inside the 22 caliber brass, or the 22 long rifle brass. You put it through a press and it sizes it to .224, and you can actually load it in a conventional rifle round. It's called bullet swedging. So if components ever get impossible, every car battery has lead. So that and a little bit of know-how, and you're able to have a cartridge and projectiles. I have off for that Michigan sectional match, but I think I'm going to use that time to go to that gun con. I'm only going to be able to make one or the other, and I think I want to go to gun con. Spend some time with your daughter. Yeah, I'm going to put the table together. It'll be later. So the problem with the fishing weight, some of it, number one, is zinc, and zinc looks a lot like lead, but it doesn't cast out the same or perform the same. And then the regular 22 sinker lead is very, very, very soft. It's a pure lead. There's no alimony in it. So you can use it, and that's what they use for 22 long rifle, but it's a little too soft to run even as a swedged projectile in rifle. Zinc actually has a higher melting point than lead. So like my cousin, before he sold his shop, he had an automotive service station, and he would pull all his lead weights for me. And when I'd cast them down to make ingots, I'd come up on temperature real slow, and the lead itself would start melting, and then I would scrape the gross off and the zinc off the top if I didn't like know it was actually zinc. But zinc can cause problems. It's real toxic. There's some companies out there, RMR is actually one of them. They're starting to sell zinc projectiles, and it's cheap and it's available, but it is as toxic, if not more so, than lead. Yeah, I have a lead press here, and I have one sitting on the floor that I have to mount that Lee sent me. They sent me the press to do a review on. So I just have to go to the hardware store and buy some bolts and drill 3 holes. Kind of sad that I didn't do it yet, but I'm not one for going to stores. I don't like going to stores. All right. I don't know if ammo's still here. I was talking about the crimp groove. See them bolts, they don't have the cantilor. I'll still use that, the military die crimp, or the military crimp die. Sorry, they're not called. You don't have to apologize to me. It's not like we're dating, right? I'm just killing time. It's long. It's close. See how close I can get with just by the eye. I'm still long. I know I'm long. Now we're getting closer. Let's see what the book says. So reloading ammunition, if you can bake a cake and follow the instructions, that's more or less will get you started in reloading. There's some stuff to know on the way, but it's not crazy shit. Let's see. 2.250. 2.250. Let's see how close I got with eyeballing it. I couldn't make that up if I wanted. I said we're just a little long. We're at 2.260. So gotten pretty good at being able to tell where my links are just from doing it. All right, Ammo, we'll see you in a little bit. Chanson, what's going on, man? How are you doing? We're going to use these for 600 yards. I'm not going to be real serious about the round. If I was real serious, each one of these I would be checking the depth, then slowly cranking them down. And I'd use the Foster die for that, which is set up in the Dillon tool head. Threw my back out yesterday. Hopped up on Mountain Dew. That happens. My back's been bothering me. I actually I went to a rehab appointment this afternoon for it. They're doing their dry needling with the electricity, so it's like a TENS, but it's there are needles on top of it. As far as cans for ARs, I've used a bunch. When I was younger, I used to drink a lot of Mountain Dew, and then I needed to start having a lot of dental work for cavities. I never had cavities as a kid, and then for a few years as an adult, I drank Mountain Dew, and I had a bunch of cavities. I quit drinking Mountain Dew, and I haven't had a cavity in, 30 years, 20 years, long time. So I like Pepsi. Pepsi with the rare occasion Coke, but I definitely don't buy Coca-Cola to drink very often. That's like if I'm going somewhere and I gotta go in a gas station and get something to drink, I'll grab a Coke. But I don't buy it for at home or anything. Yeah, Pepsi's where it's at. It's funny though, because like when I'm out doing shit, if I'm actually working or doing whatever, I can't drink Pepsi. It's more of a treat. Warren, what's good? Well, how are you doing? Jake, how are you doing? D-Dog, we got to get you doing a live. That's a really easy way to get subscribers. Usually on a live, I'll pick up 10, 20, 30, 50, sometimes even more subscribers. So with that being said, hey, if you guys are watching, you haven't, double tap the screen. Consider subscribing to the channel. Check out the channel if you like gun content. Check out all other channels you see in the comments. They're all creators and make some cool stuff. So I appreciate it, man. All my requirements are done for being monetized, and now it's just waiting on YouTube and putting out long form content. I got to do that too. I pulled up my phone this morning to see where I was actually on hours, and all of a sudden the little hours counter was gone, and I had a little panic, and I realized it was gone because it's completed. Soda not pop. I missed something there. Can we see your bucket of completed reloads? Can's upstairs. This is what I'm working on filling right now. So there's already a couple hundred in there. There'll be another 100 in there in a few minutes. If you're asking for like right now, that's the block for right now. I got the other 50 right here. So I scrolled up somehow. The 600-yard rifle matches, they're 20 rounds, and you get 3 spotters at the beginning of your match. So we don't go through crazy amount of ammo for that, but my son, he uses my heavy barrel just like I do. For rifle. A lot of people shoot that 6.5 Creedmoor, and they do really well with that. So, Rhodes, how are you doing? Appreciate you stopping in. If I have the pads, I throw them in there. I got a bunch upstairs, but I store everything upstairs in my safe. I have a big safe specifically for ammunition. Not all of it goes up there, but unless we're using the ammunition, like this will all get put in there. And there's a dehumidifying rod in the safe, so I don't worry too much about the pads. Yukon Bob, how are you doing? What's big with you today? Uh, 5.56 with a 68 grain boat tail hollow point match on top of 24.6 grains of Varget. So this is my 600 yard projectile. The Just like everything else, we have matches coming up for the summer, so the brass was already all prepped, sized, trimmed, and ready to go. So I just have to charge it and seat a bullet. I'm not sure how many I'm going to do. I have 400 bullets sitting here. I'm definitely not going to load that many. So when I'm done, when I'm actually done with these, like, it's a good question. So when I size them, I use the Hornady stuff, or I use the RCBS case lube die. And if you look, it's not super shiny, right? That's the Hornady case lube, and it's meant, I'll wipe them off, but it does leave a protectant so they don't tarnish. But when I'm actually done loading these, the very last thing I'll do is I throw them in the tumbler for about a half hour, and I have tumble media with new finish car wax in it. So they'll tumble, they'll get shiny again, then they actually get coated a little bit with that new finish car wax, and that keeps them from tarnishing. I won't be able to show you that in the live. The tumbler's loud. I mean, I can if you guys want to listen to it. I'll throw them in there for 20 minutes and then pull them out and let you look at them. But that's my process. I don't wet tumble, mainly because I have tumblers, and I'm already vested in them. I've had them for years. Watch the road. John, I love, say this with a straight face, I love the rat rod, sir. In all honesty, I really like the truck. It's a badass truck. I would call that, you're right, it's definitely a little too nice to be ratty. Just because something's flat black with red doesn't make it a rat rod. It's a cool truck. So Varget's kind of weird, like with some of the other powders I use. You can actually shake the cartridge and you'll hear the powder. The Varget gives you a pretty full case. Varget's probably my least favorite powder, but my AR is zeroed to it, so I just have to shoot the gun. Yeah, if you guys haven't seen John's Arsenal, check his channel out. He got, I won't call it a rat rod anymore because he asked us not to, but he's got a really cool pickup truck that he picked up for his birthday. If I remember right, he said it was a Dodge cab, right? With a Chevy bed. I hope I got that right. I probably didn't. Yeah, it's a cool truck. Having that straight 6 too, that thing's gonna run forever. Yeah, with the Dodge cab. That's what I said, right? Dodge cab. It's kind of weird that they didn't drop that radiator a little bit. But you know, it'd look really cool on there. I think part of the thing with rat rods, and maybe this is why they call it a rat rod and not a hot rod, is the rat rods are a combination of parts. Like you were saying, you didn't have to go to the parts store for the parts, but it's also a mix of everything. So you'll see Dodge, Chevy, Ford all in the same vehicle. So, in my opinion, that's probably why you referred to it as a rat rod, right? You know, just like calling a resto mod a hot rod. You know, that's all gets down to how into the car scene you are. You like the Nomads? Them are pretty badass. Avanta, I'm not sure what an Avanta is. All the rat rods you usually see, they're almost always either like straight patina, so it could be any one of many colors. Nothing's usually polished or painted up real nice. Most of the time you'll see the handmade or improvised fuel tanks. Yeah. It's amazing how many people, or not how many, but how much effort goes into some of these guys making a rat rod. You know, they could have a really nice vehicle for less effort than they do with the rat rods, but it's a vibe. You know, it's a vibe. Most of them are dropped down low, you know. What was the company? There was a company, used to be on TV. Guy built rat rods in Las Vegas, but they were all diesels. Like old BMW bikes. The old inline Pearl cylinders, right? Two cylinder. They weren't an inline. I think they were parallel is what they called them. I like bikes. I have 5 bikes. Diesel Brothers. I don't think it was Diesel Brothers because they built the jacked up trucks and stuff. I could be wrong though. So it was just a dude that had the shop, and then he had a chick working for him and a couple fabricators. Been riding for 43 years. I started riding dirt bikes when I was I 9, 10, somewhere in there. I have a bunch of Harleys, of course, and then I have a ZX9. ZX9 I bought strictly for a drag race bike. Although, I shouldn't, but it's fun as hell to do wheelies on. It's effortless. It's not even a bike that you gotta drop the clutch. You just can on it and it'll lift that front wheel. Alright, John. I'll catch you later. Or no, is somebody saying bye? I missed that. Later, RM. Alright, Arizona Kid, maybe that's what I was missing. You be good, man. Make that money. The last bike I actually bought was my 15 Road Glide Special. I bought that brand new, and I've been through that entire bike. Cousin has the new Sport Glide. When I first started this channel, I had bike content down there, and nobody, it didn't seem to have any real interest. I was building the bike at the time, my Road Glide, so I took all the factory shit out of it, and I mean, from the front suspension to the rear suspension, every component in between has been changed. Oh man, I've had a bunch of serious accidents. A bunch. So, definitely gotta, it's not even so much stuff I ever did, it was other people. People turning in front of you, people rear-ending you. So, yeah, you gotta be aware. When I was a kid, still riding in the dirt, I went over the bars, broke one shoulder and collarbone, and then a year later I broke the other collarbone. And so I'm not that guy who can say I've been riding for 30 years and never had an accident, because I've had quite a few accidents. Hurt my back. I think my back injuries related to a lot of things. Definitely didn't help, like when I got rear-ended on the bike. I am working on some rifle cartridges. Yeah, life kills your back. I grew up on a farm too, so that didn't help. I mean, from little kid on, I mean, I was barely 100 pounds and throwing 100-pound grain sacks on my shoulder, so. All right, Rhodes, you have a good day, man. Robert, how are you doing? John, too, I'll tell you, same thing I just told D-Dog. Get on there and do some lives. Even if it's just you hanging out, it's a great way to build subscribers, and it helps drive algorithms. I don't get much for views anymore on shorts. That's just YouTube's policy. So if I want to be able to reach people, I gotta do lives. What's up, Fubar? Boy. Just getting home from work. That's all right. So, time to unwind, huh? What? Yes, you got pets, okay? All right. All right, now go lay down. I think they want to just go hang out outside. Who's the communist? Hope you're not calling me a communist, because I would actually be pretty fucking offended by that. Got monetized on Facebook. No, they gave me a strike when my dog, a while back, he went over and sniffed a gun on a table. I got a strike for that. They said I was handling firearms on a live. So I've been trying, I was, putting a gate up at the top of the stairs, so they locked him upstairs. And the puppy, he lays in his kennel most of the time. But I don't know, last 4 or 5 lives, I haven't worried about it. And obviously, like right now, there's no firearms anywhere near, so they can't say we were handling firearms. if I were showing you the process of loading ammunition, they would nail me on that too, but I'm not showing the process of it at all. Well, you know what? I'm not going to listen to some free Palestine shit. I don't even care to hear you. I don't care to even put you on a timeout. I'm just going to block you from the channel. So, goodbye. That's when I think of free Palestine. Yeah, they're getting pretty liberal. My personal opinion about the whole Gaza and Palestine thing is simple. Everybody should just butt out. Stay out of it. That problem will work itself out. Them two cultures have been at war since before Christ. Let them figure it out. The other day during the live, so we got done shooting, I'm assuming on Sunday, right? We got done shooting the pistol match, and we were waiting to, we were going to shoot some rifle. My son wanted to shoot some rifle. So I was going to do the live. The intentional live was I was going to walk through the range, the pistol range, and show people, like, almost every place that has competition has similar areas marked, where you can handle firearms, where you get your firearms out of the case, where you load your ammunition and stuff like that. So I was going to show that on the live. That way, if people had questions, I could show it, and then I could explain some of the rules. But my son, he started shooting in the background, so he didn't handle any firearms during the live. They didn't see any firearms being handled, but they heard gunshots. And as soon as they heard gunshots, they shut the live off and tried to give me a strike. I appealed it right away, and they reversed the decision. They published what I had recorded up to that point of the live. The appeal said, yes, we made a mistake. We're sorry. We published your content, but they still gave me a 24-hour grounding, so I couldn't do a live for 24 hours. That whole thing over there is messed up. So I'm not there. I don't care to support either side. That's not my problem. That's a war they've had from before the time of Christ. So at this point in time and age, let them fucking figure it out. If one side's got to wipe the other side out, so be it. Yeah. That's the same thing everybody's done, you know. Think about everything with Iraq and Afghanistan, and before that, you know. And to be honest, it's no different than we're doing with our kids. You know, you think we tell our kids that, hey, you know, we committed a lot of war crimes and atrocities and a lot of innocent civilians and good people were killed? Absolutely we don't. We glorify it. We make ourselves out to be the good guy and everything, and we're not. We do a lot of harm. But like I said, that doesn't affect me. I don't have a nickel in the fight, and I just assume at this point in time and age that they figure this shit out themselves. It's funny because throughout history, you have two sides of every conflict. You have the people that are fighting for righteousness, for freedom, and then you have the other side that's terrorists. So from our point of view in GWAT, we were the good guys. We were fighting for freedom. And because we won, we get to say the other guy was terrorists. Now from their point of view, which one were we? You know, just like in the Revolutionary War, the War of Independence, you know, what were we as Americans? We were terrorists. We were a rebellious insurgency. Yep. The victor writes history and deletes the other side's history. So, and no offense, this will sound kind of cold too. I have no problem with them figuring this shit out over there, because at least if they're all focused and on both sides, all sides over there. If they're focused on what's going on over there, they're not coming over here doing shit. For rifle, no. I do cast for 9mm 38. I usually still have it sitting on the bench. I usually powder coat my bullets now, because then I don't have to use gas checks and stuff. So then there's some 44s that I loaded or cast and then powder coated. So only rifles I have that would be suitable for hard cast bullets would either be the Mosin Nagant or 308. And one of my least favorite things on the world is to remove lead. I hate removing lead from barrels. So I'll shoot it in a handgun barrel because it's easier to work on. It's easier to get it out. But Canadian? Who's Canadian? Are you asking if I'm Canadian? Do I sound Canadian? Had to go piss. It's alright, man. Nobody's obligated to feel like they have to stick around. I appreciate you guys do. But I was gonna sit here and load some ammo either way. I might as well throw the live on and work on them hours. So you think I'm Canadian? No, I'm not Canadian, man. Joe, what country are you in? I'm just curious, as then I'll tell you where I'm actually at. Yeah, you're in Texas. So what you're hearing from me is a Wisconsin accent. My aunt just moved back from there. She loves it. Wisconsin's a good place. There's a lot of freedom here. So it's funny, statistics for people that hunt in Wisconsin. During our Wisconsin deer hunt season, if the amount of people in Wisconsin that were a stand-in military, it would be the third largest stand-in military in the world. That's how many hunters we have in Wisconsin. Deer hunters. My job published that data this last deer hunt. Executive edition. I'm not familiar with the VEPR executive decision. What exactly is that? For deer hunting, on your regular deer tag, you get a doe and a doe and a buck, but you can buy additional tags, and then you have the youth hunt, you have the disabled hunt, you have late season hunt, which is an antlerless hunt. And then you can get agriculture tags if you're in the country. So, and then you get your bow tags. So, I mean, the actual gun hunt, it's either 2 antlerless and 1 buck, or 1 buck and 1 antlerless, or 2 antlerless. You actually get 3 tags on your 1 tag. I'm sorry, not 2. But But it changes. That changes too, and depending on what part of the state you are, sometimes they have antlerless only zones. So it depends on the year. The best hand selected models that weren't shot more than 5 rounds. How long have you had that Vepr? How long would 3 harvests last me? So it's been a few years since I went hunting, but generally I could get 2 deer. We would have either hot sticks made with some of it, or I'd just have the whole thing ground minus the straps and stuff, and I'd have deer most of the year. When it was just my wife and I, 1 deer would last us most of the year. 2 deer, we'd have venison all year. Whitetail aren't a monster animal. Generally speaking, you get about 150 pounds of meat out of them once they're dressed out. So depending on how you do it, like when we had it ground, I'd have it ground and then have pork mixed in, so that if you were making something fried, I mean, that's why we ground it. Having kids, it would cook easier. That's a very lean meat. That's why we'd have pork put into it, which then again, you know, that stretches the meat. Other sealers similar to the original Khalil. You must have great eyesight, because I'm struggling to see the comments with my phone. So the phone's back far enough that I can see it. If it were closer, it looks blurry. And then too, kind of the way it's sitting with light, I can see it a little easier. It's funny because when I do it upstairs, I'll turn the TV on to my channel so I can read the comments off of there, and it seems like I struggle more to see it off there. Gotta change the steering box. Do it right, put one of the Crown Victoria front ends on it. That's where it's at. It's like one of the best front ends you can put on a hot rod. And they're cheap. Cheap, 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 cheap. That's the best price, cheap. Yeah, hunting's good for that. So I had 2 places to hunt. I had hunting land I leased, and then my mom's farm I would hunt. The land lease went away, and my mom passed away, so I haven't went hunting since. wanted to retire from my job this year, and they changed a few years ago. They changed our requirements. We used to be able to do the service retirement, so it was 20 years, and now they changed it. You have to actually be 62 or whatever. But had I been able to retire this year like I wanted to, well, number one, I wouldn't still be in this house. I would have left the area. Only reason I'm still here is because of my job. Yeah, in rural Alaska, that's a little different thing than where I'm at. I like duck hunting. That's always been my favorite hunt. Spring turkey hunt's fun too. Deer hunting's cool, but I always did more sleeping than anything. Where would I go duck hunting, or where would I go hunting? No, I never hunted with a bow, turkey wise. I should buy a crossbow. I have bows. I don't shoot them much anymore. I tore the biceps and tendons in both arms. So after I had them surgeries, I quit shooting bow. I would just move up to northern Wisconsin. I would have to stay in the area, but I just wouldn't have to be in the valley. My wife obviously works, but she works just as much from home as she does in an office, so I probably wouldn't even sell my house. I'd just give it to my oldest. As long as he paid for the taxes, he could have the house. If that were the case, then the wife could just keep a room. Seals were black bears, tundra specific, moose. Oh, I'm stuck because I got my job. I've been at my job 20 years. I'm not going to go start over someplace. So, my daughter's 11. When she's 18, then I'll reconsider my options. But right now, I'm not going to go start over. If I would have retired, I'd have been able to live off my pension. I got a pretty good pension sitting there. I wouldn't need to work. So, but evidently when we did our last contract, they changed, my fault for not realizing, but they changed our ability to retire at 20-year service versus like age of service. Godfather, what's going on? How are you doing? Ribeye, there's nothing impressive to see there. I mean, if you want to see some dude's flaccid pecker, there's definitely places for you to check that out. But definitely don't need some homo on here asking to see a man's cock, right? I'm not familiar with what term. Do you hunt squirrels? No, not really, not anymore. When I had that land lease, I would, but I only hunted them because I had a guy that would buy the tails for tying flies. Turkey though, turkey's good stuff. So is duck. Duck hunting's a blast because it goes from being dead calm and bored out of your mind to a lot of shooting back to nothing. And you know, mallards are good, wood ducks are okay, all that type of stuff. Turkey, wild turkeys, that's an incredible tasting critter too. Yeah. My favorite thing with turkey would be cream of mushroom, and then some wild rice in a crock pot. Oh yeah. Same with pheasant. That's how I always like to make pheasant too. But pheasant, I would always use a white rice. Duck, I'd usually bake. The spring turkey hunt was always cool because you're just getting through winter and the weather, I mean, it's now, right? So it's just getting nice out, so you get to go hang out and sit in the woods all day. But I don't know, should we do some more rifle rounds or should we call it good? We'll do some more. It's because you guys are here, I'll hang out. I don't even know what I have for brass. I don't think there's 50 pieces in here. There might be. Yeah, usually the mosquitoes aren't bad yet. The wood ticks depend on when you go because it opens. You have to pick your weekend. You got to pick your time in December. I think it's got to be in by like December 4th. But you can buy, once they start issuing tags, you can buy tags for other times, but you got to pick, you get a weekend. 3 days, 4 days, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. But in the earlier season here, none of the wood ticks are out, mosquitoes aren't out. So we go mid-May. So by the time it's mid-May, I mean, you're covered in ticks and mosquitoes. And depending on how spring hit or how winter was, they either may be still chasing hens or they may be all henned up or it could be over. It's always a crapshoot. I always tried to do the second weekend in April, so that would have been like last weekend, I think, or this weekend. But sometimes you were late, so yeah. If we have a good hard winter, the ticks aren't bad in early spring. Like this year, it was a real mild winter. There'll be a million ticks. You need that deep hard freeze to kill them off, but we didn't get that this year for sure. John, were you a hunter? I don't know if I've ever asked you that. Yes, they must have given you off by seniority. Yep, I've changed buffer springs on ARs. Are you asking to know how to do it, or are you asking because you want to know something else? You can make like a Pink Floyd song here in the reloading song. Yeah, I've had people tell me they like the ASMR sounds of it. My kid last night was putting some ammunition away, and then he was loading some magazines. I told him we should record that as a sound clip. So I think people would dig that. Probably only gun people. Maybe liberals if they didn't know what it was. Yeah, you know, it's funny you just said that, because that's what I was picturing too. The front of this beginning of their song kind of sounds like that, doesn't it? Money for nothing but chicks for free. It's actually, when you said the Floyd song, that was the one I was thinking. That's the thing with this extruded powder, is sometimes you cut the grains, you'll feel it on the handle. So if you actually measured that load, it wouldn't be consistent. So if you're wondering why sometimes I dump the powder right away, it's because I'm cutting the grain and it gives an inaccurate amount of powder. If I were really getting scientific here, I would charge into a pan, and then I have a trickler, and I would trickle the exact weight. These are close enough. I am Working on some 68 grain boat tail hollow point match rounds. So still in the 5.56 family. 24.6 grains of varget. So this is a load I use for 600 yards. I had the brass prep and everything all done. I just had to charge them like I did the other day. I just had to charge the cases and seat the bullets and then crimp them. That's my rhythm. Accurate, the description you mentioned. I'm not sure what you mean by that. I mean, these are an accurate load if that's what you're asking. This is a well-tested combination I'm using. There's nothing break in history here. I've used this same load for a very long time. I'm not a particular fan of varget powder. I don't like the way it meters. I don't like how it cuts grains. See the handle getting hung up, and that's because it's actually cutting the grain of powder. And each time it does that, you gotta start over. You can't trust that. Yeah, it's a boat tail, a 68 grain boat tail hollow point match bullet. Split second, I can tell you what the coefficient is. The coefficient of drag. Actually, I can't because it's not on the box, but it's in the book. So obviously I'm loading a Hornady bullet. I use Hornady data. The bullet coefficient is 0.355. So all that means it's a long and sleek bullet. Flies through the air better. All right, Xbox. Thanks for hanging out. I appreciate it. Yeah, if you want to buy off the shelf match ammo, you're gonna pay a buck around. I don't really save any money loading. I just like to, maybe I'm just like a control freak. I like to have my hands in it. John Doe, how are you? So this bullet weight and combination will feed in a magazine. I have other stuff that you have to single feed it. Yeah, I'm good. Just finishing up some rounds here. Nope, this is all Lake City brass that I've already fired once out of my gun. So, been fire formed. Fire formed, trimmed, sized. Last time I loaded it, I removed the crimp pocket. I uniformed the primer pockets. So, none of this stuff will get picked up now. This will all get tossed when I'm done with it. It depends on the magazine. Like a lot of the P-mags, you can load to full capacity. You can load 30 round in mags. With the steel magazines, I only put 28 in a magazine. I prefer steel magazines over P-mags, but I use both. It's whatever I grab off the shelf or whatever gets left in the range bag. Yeah, these are boat tails. I'll show you one in a second. It's actually a really pretty bullet. It's a hollow point boat tail match, so it's got a real nice boat tail to it. That's an open tip match bullet. So no, I don't work at Barrett. Oh, I got that. I was like, why would you ask? No, I don't work at Barrett. Took me a second. I got a Barrett shirt on. This is for my heavy barrel AR. This will be for a 600-yard rifle match. I'm loading more than I need for the match, but then I won't have to load any more this summer. I need 23 rounds per shooter for the match. So it's my son and me, so 46 rounds. Call it 50 to be safe. It's not any slower. It's so they take material out of the nose, and they lengthen the bullet, just like a hollow point 9mm bullet. They remove material out of the nose, and it actually lengthens the projectile for the same weight. The longer it is, the sleeker it can be. It's not as blunt, and it flies through the air a little better. So that's why most match ammunition is all, some will call it a hollow point open tip match. Some people call it just a hollow point. Some people call it open match. Depends on the manufacturer, but most match bullets are all open tip. The match bullets like this, I have a Leupold Mark III, Leupold Veriflux 3 long range optic. I think it's 4 to, I'd have to go look. I think it's 4 to 16 with a 50mm objective. So. Baby and sweet potato, about 150 calories. That's funny. You got any more? I like good jokes. Yeah, the hollow point boat tail, for short. Why not put it up to a 308? Because I built that rifle specifically for 600-yard matches. with my EOTech, usually 350 yards with the magnifier, and that's turning the optic damn near as low as you can to see, and that's just on silhouette steel, so there's no bullseye shooting there. All right, Yukon, I appreciate you hanging out. Hope you have a good night. Dude's honest 350 at a body size target. Yeah, well, I have no reason to lie. I mean, it's a EOTech, a 30, what are they, 32 MOA or something? It's a big dot. So in order to be able to see a target, you need the magnifier. And you also have to turn your dot way down. If you have it bright, you just cover it. So when you turn it down pretty much the lowest setting, you're able to see through the dot a little bit. But there's no red dots out there or holographic sights that are great for long distance. .350 isn't really that long, but I can hit the silhouette size steel. It's fine. I don't have any misconception that, hey, I'm doing headshots. You're just getting center mass shots. Romeo Juliet combo. Yeah, so my EOTech, I have the AA battery version. I don't use the CR120. Are they 123s? I think that's what they are. What model do you have? I think it's... I'd be lying to say exactly which one it is, but it's the AA version. I've had it for a long time. That optics outlived several barrels. I like EOTechs. The one I had before, the one I hung on to, used the small fat batteries. I think they're CR123s, or that may not be it, because the CR123s are their own, the discs. I don't recall what they are, but the short fat ones, they eat batteries alive. The only way to not eat batteries is when you shut your dot off. You got to pull the battery out of it. Otherwise, they absolutely destroy batteries, and that's why I ended up picking up the one that used AA's, because there was numerous times we'd go out shoot and I'd be at the range set up and my fucking dot would be dead. Well, them shorter, fatter batteries you had to actually go get from Fleet Farm or Batteries Plus or Walmart. Well, that was, half hour from the range, where AA's I could pick up fucking 10 minutes down the road at gas stations. So it got annoying to always have a dead optic. It doesn't do you any good to have a dead optic. So I had a friend that bought that one from me. And I had picked up that, I don't know if it's a 552 or 556 or something like that. EOTech is okay for close range and fast, but if you want to be able to engage shit quickly long distance, so you don't have to turn your dot way down to see it. Regular aim points where it's at a patrolman. So I have a bunch of M68s aim points, and I have the patrolman model that's got a smaller dot. I think that's, I don't know if it's 4 MOA or 6 MOA or whatever, but that's small. I myself, I only have a couple pistols that have red dots on them, and they're both on my Checkmates and Seymour optics. I put a dot on my son's pistol for competition, but I personally don't have any dots on pistols. Mountain Man, how are you? My week's been all right. Pretty low key. Just finishing up a few rifle rounds. Get these done and move on to something else. I loaded some 55 grain the other day. Pistol optic, the one I put on his gun is a Vortex Defender ST. On my daughter's pistol, I have one of the, what is it, Gideon? I think that's what it is. Dots on hers. And then, like I said, on my Checkmates, I have Seymour's. For a lot of newer shooters, you know, young guys, they all go to dots right away. But you got to figure, I've been shooting a very long time. Red dots are kind of a new thing to the market. Shooting echelon. 2 rounds off in .92. That's pretty impressive. That's usually my time with my first shot. How are your hits? And what distance? So it's easy to get out of the holster and get on target fast. But to get on target fast and make 2 really solid hits sometimes poses a little more of a challenge. A person can be sloppy with that first shot if you're only taking 1, but if you're doing like doubles, and I'm sure you know this, you gotta have a better grip. But .92, that's moving pretty quick. 15 feet, so 7 yards, center mass with 3 inches. Yeah. I generally practice at 15 yards. So, what is that, 14, 21 feet? All right? No. 45 feet. So, closer you are, the easier it is to get up on there. And at that point, you don't even have to find your sights. So, practice, go out. Shoot at 15 yards versus 7 yards, double your distance. Like all the competition stuff we do, we generally practice at further distances than we see in matches. And then that way, when we get to a match, everything seems easier. How do you like that echelon? Have you had any problems with it? Does it run good? Is it accurate? Do you have 100-yard range? kind of, are you appendix carrying? Or are you carrying on like 9 o'clock? I'm sorry, 3 o'clock. I gotta think of a right-hander. I'm left-handed, so 3 o'clock. I personally carry my carry pistol. It would be like 8:30, so in between 8 and 9 o'clock on an in waistband. I shot an IDPA match last weekend. Ryan, how are you doing? And I actually had to use a normal holster, and I struggled. I had a rough match. My son was talking shit to me last night. He actually beat me, and his mom actually defended me. She's like, your dad, I know for a fact, hasn't shot that gun in 2 years, and it's not something he carries or practices with, versus you shooting your competition gun that you shoot every weekend. Yeah, 3 o'clock, you like your wiener. I agree, man. I've already been circumcised once, and it's not like I'm working with extra to, consider a double circumcision. You're one bad incident away from going from Steve to Samantha. I honestly don't even understand how or why appendix carry got so popular. I can understand maybe when you're standing up skinny guys, but no matter what gun you carry, when you sit down, skinny guy or not, that gun is digging into your shit. Not only is it going to dig into your stomach, but it's going to dig into whatever you have there for a package. So I get it. Some people seem to like that, but that was never anything I even considered. Maybe when I was like a teenager playing with guns, but not as an adult. Not a sponsor. You carry appendix, don't you? You normally carry at 3 o'clock? Okay. That's the way I prefer to carry. In waistband Glock 26 at like 8:45. So not quite a true 9 o'clock, but just beyond a little bit. That's only because getting out of vehicle is at like the 9 o'clock for me. I'll hit the A-frame of the car, the door pillar. So I carry just a little behind that, and I don't hit it at all that way. You had service calls today, didn't you? Or field work? You gonna do a live later? Alright, man. I'll see you later. I'm gonna switch at some point tonight and go do the gun table. Probably when I'm done down here. But you have a good night, man. I appreciate you stopping in and checking on me. So it looks like I'm going to end up with 175 rounds. So not a sponsor. When you jumped in here with me, that's what I processed, and we'll end up with a loaded cartridge. So it doesn't take long to load them. The case prep, all the processes that go into this final step, that takes forever. It's just like painting it. It's all prep work. Well, what time do you think you're gonna go live? As I'll either try to be done before you, or I'll go on after. My back's been bothering me really bad too. That was why I took vacation at work. Today I actually went in, I talked to my doctor the other day, and he did the whole, okay, here's some pain meds, here's some muscle relaxers. You want to go see the physical therapist, so play the responsible role. I went and saw the physical therapist, and it used to be called acupuncture, but it wasn't acupuncture, it was dry needling. They stick the needle in you and twist it around a little bit and pull it out, but they did that with a combination of, I don't know if you know what TENS is, but it's where they put electrodes on something, and they electrocute it and make the muscle spasm. They did a modified version of that. Let me see. Should have some more brass processed. I have 5 more bullets in the package. So if I can figure out where my other container of processed brass is. Oh, right there. So I need. We'll finish them out. 6. I have one of them home units too. I'm not they kind of sucks. For me, it's anything, man. I can cough or sneeze and it'll fuck up my back. My kids, when they were little, probably like yours, they come up and they go give you a hug, and you're bending over. But then, like my daughter was notorious for it. She'd lift her feet up, so all of a sudden you get that hard jolt. It wasn't like she was heavy or anything, but that would definitely foobar my back. This time, I don't know what I did. Just, it's been bothering me though for a while again. Sucks when they do it, but like I said, my kids are kind of past that now. But damn it. If you ever have a loading room or you ever decide to get into loading ammunition, don't ever have a room with carpet. You will spill powder. That's inevitable. And with having carpet, especially in like wintertime, you get that static electricity. And then having carpet, you'll get a lot of powder down in there. I actually know personally a couple people that had very catastrophic results from having carpet in their loading rooms. So in a loading room, you always do either concrete or regular flooring. I just thought of that because I spilled some more powder on the floor. Just like, don't ever wear socks in your loading room, because it actually, like in concrete, there's times if you get, it's been a little bit since you swept, you're liable to slip and fall and break your ass. My middle son's done that a few times. So. I was going to give you a breakdown of how much these rounds cost to load, but the box isn't marked, so I don't know how much they were. Is he making his own ammo? Yep, that's what I'm doing. You want to shoot, you have to have components. after I'm done seating these last 60 bullets, I'll run them through a case gauge and check them and make sure they pass. And then I'll throw them in the tumbler and let them polish for a half hour. King of artillery. Tell him to subscribe, and then tell him to tell me he came from you or your channel. Not a soul, you will never have enough room. Yeah, you never have enough room, man. My shotgun presses I don't even keep bolted to a bench anymore. They sit on the floor underneath the bench. I don't load a whole lot of shotgun. I did when I shot 3-gun. I would actually cast my own buckshot with lead molds, and then I would load up the rounds. My Sega was kind of finicky, so the best way to get reliability out of that was just make your own. Display loading, hanging out. I don't generally keep any firearms on this side on my area. Just like on my work side, on the other side, I don't ever put ammunition over there. I keep them separate. My kid will come down here with me and work on shit, but when people come over, this isn't someplace we go and sit. This is my own little area. Keeps people from fucking with shit or things getting moved. Even guns, for the most part, unless you go in my office, there usually isn't any guns sitting out where anybody would see them. Yeah. If you wanna really start to understand your firearms, reloading's a great way for that. A lot of high-level shooters never learn how to reload or load, but for me, that was just like having my race bikes or cars. I built them, you know. I could pull everything apart in it and rebuild the motor, rebuild the transmission. I wasn't real good at building like the turbo 350s and 400s. It would take me usually a couple times of putting it in, taking it out till I got it right, but I could do it. Yeah, that sounds... The thing with kids in a house too is, and mine, I'm not concerned, but like the guy who taught me how to reload, his kid came home one day and they had burns on him and his buddy, and they were playing with fucking powder, lighting it on fire thinking it was funny, and then they had some black powder, which black powder is a little more volatile than smokeless. But my kids have never, I'm not saying they won't, but they've never shown any example of it. Like, all my kids know the combinations for the safes. Any one of them can open up a safe. My wife doesn't know the combinations, but the kids do. I've never hid guns from my kids. My carry pistol usually sits on the dinner table I come home, I unload it, I set it down, I set it by my keys, and when I leave, I grab my keys, I grab my pistol. So, but like, I don't leave guns sit in the living room or hang up on walls. I used to, but when I started buying safes, that safes weren't to keep firearms for my family. It was just a safe place to have them in case of a fire or something. I would love to have a bigger vault. If I had access to the other side of the basement here, part of that I'd turn into a vault. But as it is, I have just a small one. Then I have my big safes up in my office. I like them, and you have it too, the gun wall displays, or the them racks they have now that you can hang up. I've thought numerous times about getting one of them for my bedroom. My wife's response or reaction would be, as long as she didn't pay for the shit, she wouldn't care where I hung it, but I just... No. Good thing with safes is, like, I mean, obviously for firearms, but, you know, family documents or, you know, your house deed or any of that shit's a nice thing to have a safe for. I don't know why she wouldn't let you keep it in there. That's when you just do it. Don't ask, just do it. I think you've been married long enough, you know, you don't ask for permission anymore when you're married. You just do shit. Generally speaking, they're gonna be mad either way, so I have no problem my old lady being mad at me and not wanting to talk to me. To be honest, sometimes I piss her off on purpose just so she'll leave me alone. And I'm fairly confident she does the same thing. In-wall rifle safe. What do you think of them, what are they called? Hidden displays? So it's like I've seen some of their coffee tables or like shelves for a wall or mantles over a fireplace. And they have the drop down part and you got firearms in them. I always thought them were pretty cool. I'm cheap though, so I'm not gonna buy one, but if someday I ever got a sponsor or somebody else that wanted to send me shit, I would definitely take something of theirs for free. So that's my 172 cartridges. I'll see if we have any defects. So put them through a case gauge. If they drop down all the way, it's a good cartridge. It'll feed. Yeah. They still look cool though. had for a while, over my front door, I had my little TAC-14 mounted. So you could go to the door, and if you needed it, it was right there. And my wife was mad at me one day and slammed the door, and it fell. So I never put it back up there. Yeah. So dealing with ammunition, you know, very, very dirty. Did you answer not a sponsor what time you were thinking of going live? That one caught my eye because I have a different colored primer in there. I don't know. Oh, there's another one. So I must have been the end of a box. I didn't realize I had different primers in there. So when I go shoot these, I will actually separate. These must be the 6 rounds I pulled out of that other box. I thought they were all the same primer, and then I didn't look. Evidently they're not. What would I hide mine behind? Your shotgun? You have more than one, but on an overnight gun wall. When people do them, I try to stop in and throw a like on it, nothing else. But I'm not gonna. I feel bad, but I'm not gonna hang out and just stare at a blank screen, nor what I expect you guys to. But like with ammo, I always jump in there and make sure I leave a comment and thumbs up. And I think a few you've done where you've let them just play. I do that too. It's funny though, like I've seen people doing them and all the comments they get. Display elephants. I don't even think an elephant would be good enough. I think he needs like a display semi-trailer, a good 50-foot or 60-foot trailer. I think he actually changed it to John's Arsenal because he got tired of me saying his last name wrong. I think every time I said his name, I said his last name wrong. But John's Arsenal is definitely a much, much, much better name for his channel. I'm glad he changed it. We need to... Actually, not a sponsor. You could probably do this easier than I could, as you have that OBS. He doesn't know how to get the audio to his shorts. So I can show him, but I gotta wait until my kid's home, as we'll do a mock video on his channel or his phone. But if you're able to show that on that software you have, that would probably help him out. I know it helps your shorts to have music in it. Doesn't even matter what the music is. Anything in the background is better than nothing. So, is that something you'd be able to show on your channel? Because like I said, if you can, then I won't even go through the trouble of it. Ava, how are you doing? I think that's how you say your name, Ava. Alright. Is that something you want to do? If you're going to keep saying $100 and $20, you can either donate it or I'm going to boot you for spamming. Yep. No, don't even time him out. I'll hide him from the channel. That's a permanent ban now. Yep, we'll just boot him right from the channel. He can never come back. That's usually what I do with spammers. The timeout isn't enough. Because if all they're doing is spamming, then why would it matter? Lauren, how are you doing? Did you get your holster? Bamboo curtain. There you go, that'd be pretty badass too. She's over with it. I'm doing good. How are you doing? So not a sponsor. Did you say that's something you'd be, be willing to do for him? But I'm doing good, man. How are you? All right. John, I'm assuming he's probably gonna do that on his channel for you. Been off social media for a week. How come you're off social media for a week? Did you get grounded? Jesus may love me, but everybody else thinks I'm an asshole. I hope that's not a start to spamming, because if you start spamming, I'm gonna permanently block you from the channel. Doing good. There you go, vacations. Where'd you go for vacation? Did you get your the DWX resolved on why it wasn't cycling properly? Yeah, so we'll leave it at that, Aiden. I try not to get into religion and politics, but I absolutely appreciate you and your message. Sometimes it's nice to hear, but not yet, John. Oh. You went to Lithuania? I can't even say it. Lithuania. Lithuania. I think that's how you say it. Talk to Susie. What'd they say? Lithuania. Sounds stupid. I don't think I'm saying that right. Lithuania. Weirdo sitting here stumble button on a word. So what did you do there? It's kind of a, that's right. It's kind of a different place to vacation to. What? You're gonna have to give me some more background history on that, because I'm curious. put a smaller diameter spring inside of the existing extractor spring. Did we talk about that extractor spring? I didn't know you changed that. Oh, to increase the resistance weight. Yeah. Yeah, I do remember you saying that because I think I made a comment that you probably didn't need to change it. Was it ripping the rim off the cartridge after you did that? It's working better. What did CZ say though? Guys at CZ recommend trying it without the extra spring. Okay. You'll have to keep me up to date on that. See what happens, otherwise send it in. Hopefully you don't have to send it in. If you do, tell me you're upset about the finish too. Long time, just another place on there. Maybe I'll get a staffy puppy and pull in next time, my friend. There you go. Yeah, that's the problem with sending stuff in. I'm sure you're familiar with Wolf Springs, right? You probably check them out. They probably have a better spring. You love the FMP 90. You know what, man? If you come back here in a couple hours, I do a gun table where I put some guns on it. I have a PS90. I will put a P90 on there. I was actually looking for ideas to put on there anyway. So. Wolf Sear spring. Surprised you changed any of the internal springs. So I tuned mine, and it's like 4 1/4, 4.5 pounds. It does suck in real life. Mine's got a trigger job in it, so it's maybe not as bad as most people's. Oh, 30. All right. Nothing else. Tomorrow when you get up, flip in the live from later, you'll see P90. That's another gun my oldest talked me into buying. I didn't really have a huge desire to pick one up, but I've bought a lot of kids over the years that my kids had interest in, specifically so that they would want to shoot them, which meant then we could go to the range. Yeah, so on mine too, I changed that factory rail out, so mine doesn't have an iron sight in it anymore, but it's mounted 2/3 lower than what the factory mount was, so my optic sits lower. I don't have a red dot on it. I still have that 1 to 4 power on it. I have 2 springs, one for ultralight and one more for the middle, like 3 pounds. If you remember my name, add Yahoo. Yeah, I do remember your name. And send me address. It was FALME, right? I think that's how it was. If not, type in your last name and then I'll send you an email to make sure it gets to you. Bullseye Ben, I just finished some rifle rounds. You did it awesome. What did I miss? Yeah, no. I was 172 rounds, so it was like 2 hours, 2 hours. Well, reloading's a whole nother hobby. So you can start out pretty cheap. But you can get into spending some serious money quick on components and equipment. Marco, how are you doing? If I got something somebody can use, I got nothing, I guess. Oh, yeah. Yeah, so all the hours and stuff are done. It kind of sucks because yesterday I was at 37.15, but remember I said they're like 4 or 5 days behind. So I was actually curious to see today what my hours were, and because it hit the monetization now, they don't show the hours. So, John, did I say the name right? Or spell it right, or is it F? Text it to me in one of my videos, or in one of your videos with the response, and I can get it that way. Maybe one of mine, because then it'll pull right up. I gotta go. My sister's trying to call me, and she don't ever call, so I gotta go. Sorry, guys.